In this section, we'll be discussing how to handle user authentication in your app. So we'll be starting off by creating a new app. We won't be using our Instagram app examples anymore. We'll be creating a new app from scratch, and we'll just first be introducing how to basically create the authentication module. So in the first video, we'll be discussing the mockup of the login form and how it should look like, and basically using external libraries to create and design our login form. So the mockup of the login form is quite self-explanatory. We know that we would have an email and a password field and a login button, which will basically navigate us to the page that we want to see once we have authenticated in. So the library that I want to introduce in this video is that from now on, I won't be designing all the elements from scratch because that takes up a lot of time and I want to focus more on the concepts rather than the design. So I'll be using an external library called React Native Elements. So in this library, you can basically get many elements like button, avatar, card, checkbox, and icons, everything. And it looks pretty pleasing. Think of it like Bootstrap of mobile apps. So it's pretty easy to install. That's why I chose it. There are other UI libraries like Onsen UI, but it's a bit of a hassle to install it. So I've chosen this easy library to walk you through how to use external elements for design and to focus more on the coding rather than just the design nitty-gritties. So let's hop onto a terminal and create a new app. Create React Native app, and we'll call this authentication for now. Cool. I've opened the project in my VS Code editor and I've generated a new project called authentication like so. So let's create our folder structure like the usual. So we'll have a source directory, and inside that we'll be having our components directory. And inside that, let's create a file called loginform.js. So let's generate our boilerplate like so and call it login form. Cool. Now let's render this up. Let's import this and render this here. So let's import this and render this over here. Now let's install React Native elements like so. And let's see an example code to check out if this works properly or not. So let's hop on to our login form and we'll be using the button from the library React Native Elements. Okay, now that we've imported the button, let's give it a text before we forget because a button on its own won't show anything. So let's call it login since we're making a login form. And so we have our login form imported. Now let's check it out. Cool. So as you can see, this already has some design to it. It has a background, a crisp background of gray. We could also change it up if we go look at the documentation in their site. So button, yeah. So if you want to change the color of the button, all you have to do is basically just put a background color attribute and just type in your background color to it. So let's navigate to login form, background color. Let's give it red. See, as you can see, the button has now a red color and it's mostly designed, or else we would have to give it some flex content. We would have to do additional styling, but now no time has been wasted. You could just give a color and give it a flex of 1 to make it full width. And yeah, your button is ready.